Greetings from Kansas State University in the beautiful Flint Hills of Manhattan, Kansas. I'm Dr. Susan Yelich-Banietsky, and I serve as an Associate Professor of Adult Learning and Leadership at Kansas State University in the Educational Leadership Department.
And I'm Dr. Maya Stojanovic. I'm Assistant Professor of Adult Learning and Leadership here in the Department of Educational Leadership.
Thank you for joining our YouTube Live today. We are excited to talk with you today about our master's degree in Adult Learning and Leadership, which you can complete fully online and asynchronously. This means that you can complete the coursework at times that are convenient for you. Our master's program is designed with the working learner in mind, and the majority of our students are working adults in various sectors connected to adult learning, including corporations, the military, healthcare, nonprofits, and higher education. Maya, can you tell me a little bit more about our learners?
Sure, Susan. So as you said, our students are working adults who work in different fields. But the common thread in their work is that they're focusing on learning in adulthood. So as we know, learning in adulthood happens in different and diverse settings. So our students who work in formal higher education settings have teaching responsibilities. And they use the knowledge and skills that they gain throughout this program to facilitate learning in their institutions. So these are typically students who focus on another area such as law enforcement, military, healthcare. So throughout their undergraduate program, they may not have had the opportunity to develop teaching or facilitation skills. Then we also have students with administrative roles in higher education and other settings. So these individuals mostly focus on program planning and program evaluation. Our students who currently work in HR, they focus on training and development mostly, and they're interested in those courses because they're interested in training facilitation, understanding how adults learn. They're interested in training transfer as well as managing change and similar concepts. And last but not least, we also have students from education-related settings, for example, K through 12 education, who are actually looking into transitioning into adult education.
Right. So it's really exciting to support adults as they build on their practitioner work within our courses. We'd like to tell you a little bit more about our program, but please feel free to use the chat and we'll get to as many questions as we can. Kansas State University is a Research One institution. We were the first land-grant institution founded in 1863 and have a long history of innovation and serving learners in Kansas, in the United States, and throughout the world.
Yes, so our adult learning and leadership program builds on these traditions of meeting students where they are. And our online master's program is designed having this in mind. So a little bit about our curriculum, right? So our curriculum includes 33 graduate credit hours, which means that the students will complete 11 3-hour courses towards their degree. Another thing that's unique about our program is that each course is 8 weeks long, which means that students will be completing one course at a time. So for example, we're now in the spring semester, so the students would be completing one course starting January through March. Then they would finish that course, they would start another course in March, and then complete that one in May.
Right. So this design is really meant to accommodate learners' work, personal, school balance. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the 5 required courses that students need within our program to give them really a base about adult learning and leadership. So the first course is Introduction to Adult Learning and Leadership, Program Planning, Characteristics of Adult Learners, Critical Issues in Adult Learning, and Research Methods. And throughout our courses, students have the ability to connect practice and real-world experience to their individual projects and collaborative work.
Yes, so you're actually able to tailor your degree based on your professional goals and career aspirations, and that's where electives come in. So, in addition to 5 core courses that you will complete in the program, you will be able to choose 6 electives that best fit your goals. So, we have courses that focus on technology, online learning, we have courses that focus on leadership, team dynamics, intercultural communication, as well as courses that focus on exploring issues related to social justice. And speaking of social justice, we also have an opportunity for students. So students actually have the opportunity to complete graduate certificates as they work towards their master's degree. So we have a graduate certificate in social justice, we have an adult learning graduate certificate, and we have a leadership dynamics graduate certificate. Each of these certificates includes 5 courses that are 3 credit hours, so 15 credit hours in total, and those would be part of the 33 credit hours that go towards your master's degree. So it's not additional courses that you complete. So there really is something for everyone.
Right. So those graduate certificates fold right into a master's degree program. It's not something extra. So a little bit about, so what happens once a student finishes all of the coursework? So this isn't a process where students are shut into a room and write an exam for 8 hours. We have something called an e-portfolio that a student will develop at the end of their program of studies. And what that is a student will look at all of the projects and all of the assignments that they've completed throughout their coursework and write a final reflective essay talking about their growth and what they've learned and connecting theory to practice. And we also have 7 learning objectives or outcomes. Those have to do with synthesizing literature or using technology with adult learners. And students will look at, okay, what is the learning objective and what are artifacts that I have created that can demonstrate that I've met that particular outcome. And what I mean by artifacts, those are projects they've completed, papers they've written, presentations that they have created, or a wiki page that they've created. And then there's a shorter reflective essay that connects to each of those learning outcomes or objectives with those artifacts. So that compiles the e-portfolio, and there's plenty of guidance given to students at the end of their program of studies to complete that. So that is not a thesis or, as I mentioned, a final exam that you sit down and write in a specific period of time. That's something that a student will reflect upon and complete as an entire part of a final assessment. So, Maya, another thing applicants are interested in is how can I use what I've learned? And so we've talked a little bit about some of the courses, about program planning, program evaluation, issues in human resource development, social justice education. What we have found within our courses is that students, because they're able to connect theory to practice in our courses, they're able to really think about how can I use this in my daily work. Whether that is in a position at work, volunteering, or another kind of setting. So if it's program evaluation, students can really think about how can I use this with the adult learners in my setting. If it's about curriculum design, how can I create something in curriculum design to use within my organization? So there's really direct application as students build knowledge of theory and practice and their real world experience.
Yes, so actually, and our faculty members, as they teach courses, as they facilitate learning, we actually encourage students to reflect on the reading materials and to try to understand how they might apply what they're learning in their work and in their daily professional lives.
Right. So one of the things students may also wonder about is what kind of support am I going to receive when I start a program? We have each student is assigned an academic advisor, which is a faculty member within our program. It's not somebody outside of our program. It is a faculty member. Maya or I might serve as a major professor or advisor. And that advisor really gets to know each student. And we have 5 required courses, but then we talked about electives. So that major professor or advisor really learns from each student what that student is interested in. What choices might there be to meet the goals that each student has within our program, and develop a program of study that is tailored to meet those goals?
Yes, another question that students generally have, because there are individuals who take courses or that have taken courses but may not have applied those courses to another degree. So we accept transfer credit up to 9 credit hours as long as the grade you have received is B or higher, right? And as long as those courses have not been applied to another degree.
Exactly. Another question that some students may have is the time. How much time am I going to have to spend? Well, certainly, I would say that there will be evenings where you will have to work on coursework instead of watching that new Netflix movie. There are some choices that you may have to make, but as we talked about, our learners are working adults, and with an asynchronous design, you are able to complete that coursework at times that are convenient for you. So if you're working third shift, you'll be completing your online assignments at a very different time, perhaps, than another learner who is working first shift, or and so on. So that's important. Maya, can you talk a little bit about like how our course is set up within 8 weeks, kind of modules, or?
Yes, so to continue to what you started talking about and how flexible our program is towards the working learner, it really, we said that the program is 100% online, and then that the courses are asynchronous, which basically means that you are, if there are group meetings scheduled, you will not be required to attend those, and you will be able to make alternative arrangements to meet with a faculty member at the time that best works with you, because our faculty are really understanding of our working learners' schedules. Having that in mind, our courses are facilitated through Canvas, which is an online learning platform. So if you recently completed your undergraduate education, you may be familiar with Canvas or another similar learning management software. But if not, Canvas is really easy to use, so to say. So given that our students use technology in their work lives, then it will be an easy shift from any other software to Canvas. And our courses are all organized, as we said, they're 8 weeks long, and they're organized based on weekly topics. So basically we have one module that corresponds to 1 week, and then that focuses on one topic.
Right. So those are modules that are fairly easy to navigate, and there's really clear directions and logistics throughout that course. One of the things that I also think is important is we've talked about there's all of these diverse learners within our program from all of these different sectors. And one of the things that everybody shares is the desire to learn about adult learning. So that's a common something all the learners have in common. But because of that, all of these diverse sectors, there's also the benefit of networking with peers who are from all of these different areas of adult education, and to really build community, which is possible in an asynchronous online course. So we really encourage students to also get to know each other throughout the courses within their conversations and projects to build those networks and learn from each other.
Yes, so I think you would agree with me that a piece of advice to students, both those who are thinking about enrolling and those who are currently enrolled, is to use the support structures that we offer. So both advisors and peer mentoring, it's really our program will offer excellent opportunities to connect and to make professional networks.
Right. And my final piece of advice would be to ask questions. The faculty here are always available, either in to set up a meeting that's convenient for the student and the faculty member, understanding that we have office hours that not every student is going to be able to meet. So either a real-time Zoom meeting, which everybody's familiar with, I think, right now, or those quick questions that maybe via email. So asking questions right away is another great piece of advice throughout our courses.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us today for YouTube Live. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to our faculty at the Adult Learning and Leadership Program at Kansas State University, and we'd be happy to answer additional questions for you.
Thanks for joining us today.